Ex-wife threatened to off herself if I didn't take her back. True story, you read a story years ago about the betrayed husband offing himself after discovering his wife cheated on him. And he was also beaten up by the affair partner. I felt that story so much because the same thing happened to me, except I didn't go through with harming myself. I was close, very close. Since hearing that story, I'd listen off and on. I went on to divorce my wife. Let me tell you what happened exactly, and then where I am today. So my ex-wife and I were married for 9 years. We were to renew our vows on our 10th year anniversary, but obviously that never happened. My ex-wife always claimed to me that she wasn't high maintenance and didn't like flashy things. But I guess her new friend rubbed off on her. One night we were all hanging out, drinking wine, listening to reggae. This was a normal thing for us. By the way, this friend of my wife's was a single woman, sort of. She had this thing with this pretty wealthy guy, and he'd allow my ex-wife's friend to borrow his nice cars. Corvettes and Audis. Very nice cars, though. She showed us pictures of his house, and man, it was amazing. One night, we were all drinking and singing, sort of like karaoke, and my ex-wife's friend just was asking me, "So you don't want more in life? You don't think your wife deserves nice things like a bigger house and luxury car?" I said, "My wife gets whatever she wants. What are you talking about?" She says, "Then where is her designer clothes, shoes, house?" I said, "My wife never asked for those things, and we do have a house. Paid off, might I add." She laughs in my face and looks over at my ex-wife. My ex-wife then says, "Hun, it would be nice if we lived a little. Yes, we have everything we want, but I still feel as if I'm missing out." I said, "So it sounds like you've been complaining to your girlfriend and not communicating with me." My ex-wife says, "We can't have children, so it's okay to be a little reckless. We don't have to be so uptight all the time." I was ticked off. Where'd all this come from? Like I said, when I first met my ex-wife, she was nothing like this. And for years, she was nothing like this. She would always talk about how it was stupid to waste money on Gucci and name brand things and expensive trips. Yeah, we did go to Florida here and there a couple times. We've been to North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. We take small trips once a year, sometimes every other year. But it was good. She was good with it. Now all of a sudden that her friend is wearing all this jewelry and driving these nicer cars, she felt like she needed to do so as well. I really hoped that it was the liquor talking. The next day I got up, prepared breakfast, woke up my wife, and had her come in and eat, and I brought it up again. "So did you really mean those things you said about wanting more luxurious lifestyles or living reckless? I've never heard you talk like that." That's what I told her. Let's spend a little and live. What are we preparing for this rough situation to occur for? Even if another pandemic were to happen, we are good. That's what she told me. She's right, we were good. But I just never had the mindset of wanting to be reckless and careless. That's just never been me, and it's never been her. But this one friend is rubbing off on her. I wasn't at all happy about my ex-wife's friend coming over anymore. I wasn't happy with her hanging out with her anymore. She actually stopped for a while because I didn't want it. And every time her friend wanted to hang out, I tried to make up an excuse for us to go so she wouldn't hang out with her. My wife began to notice and we sat down and talked about it. And my wife told me that I choose you. I know she's my good friend and I love her, but I choose my husband. So she stopped hanging out with her. For a while. That didn't last very long though. I discovered that my wife was sneaking off hanging out with her, having lunch. All types of things. Her friend had much more free time as possible because she didn't have to work anymore. This guy, boy toy, I don't know if she was a side chick or what, but he never came around. So I felt like they weren't that serious. But he basically took care of her, paid her rent and everything. And she had a son, but she would always let her aunt stay with her son while she was out and about, doing whatever, always on call for this rich guy. It would have been okay if I found out my wife was just sneaking around with her friend and just going to see her because she misses her. I would have been upset with her lying to me, but at the same time, I kinda would understand. But when I found out that my wife was going to cheat on me, I was devastated. What I did was wrong, and it was breaking and entering. So what that guy did to me, he had every right to do so. But I was still angry. Well, I started tracking my wife's phone, reading her messages. This was after I discovered she was lying to me about hanging out with her friend. Reading her messages, I downloaded an app for it, and I would see everything. And I see that my wife's friend wanted to hook her up with her rich guy friend's buddy. Instead of confronting my wife right then and there, I wanted to see if she was going to go through with it, and I wanted to catch her. Of course, she went through with it. She lied to me about where she was going. She was supposed to be with her cousin and her mother. That was not the case. She was headed out to meet her friend, and they were all going to the rich guy's buddy's house, a place my wife had never been. She never met this guy, but she was going to meet him for the first time at his place. I'm not surprised at what I walked into. My ex-wife's friend made this guy look like he was just the most spectacular man in the world. Oh, he has so much money. He's so romantic. He's in such great shape. Unlike me, I'm not totally out of shape, but my wife isn't in the best shape either. I mean, she's not horrible, but we both were in way better shape when we met. Anyway, monitoring my wife's phone, I saw that she was lying, and I headed out, maybe 20 minutes after she left our home. She first met up with her friend, and they both drove to this guy's place together. This guy lived in a city 1.5 hours from where we lived. When I arrived, which was after they did, close to a half hour after they did, I see that the place is gated, and I had to be buzzed in or something. The closer I got, though, I realized the gate was still open. I parked on the street and just sat there. I sat for close to 3 hours, just not knowing what to do. I decided to just go knock on the door. I went through the gate, ran up the long curved driveway, and the closer I got to the door, I could hear my wife. I know her sounds in the bedroom. The windows were open up at the second level, and my wife was definitely getting it in from someone. I tried to open the front door, but it was locked. I ran to the side of the house, and it was a small door that led into the laundry room. It was locked. I kicked it open and found my way upstairs. Sure enough, my wife was bent over taking it from some guy. I screamed my wife's name, and the guy backed off of her and charged after me. I was completely thrown off because, well, he was nude. This man punched me so hard I blacked out. I woke up with my wife crying over me without any clothes on, and this guy with an accent is yelling for everybody to get the heck out of his house. I got up and my wife grabbed me. I pushed her off, and the guy attacked me again. I ran out the way I came in. I got to my car and decided there what I was going to do to myself once I got home. True story, I literally sat in my bed with my weapon aimed directly to my head, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. I ultimately divorced my ex-wife. We split everything. And I've just been a loner ever since. I don't hang out. I don't do anything. So recently, my ex-wife did contact me telling me she was miserable without me, and I shouldn't have allowed one mistake to ruin us. I literally sat on the phone and couldn't speak. She then told me she was going to off herself if I didn't take her back. It's been almost a month since that call, and I haven't heard from her. It's like all of this happened yesterday. My brother got me into counseling. My counselor, who is male, knows all about your channel, True Story, and he encouraged me to write this out and to just listen to someone speak my words. Thanks, True Story.